Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's session, Centralizing Payments and Fraud Management with Kyriba. This is a 30-minute listen-only session, so please submit any questions you have via the webinar panel below. It's my pleasure to introduce today's panelists. From Şişecam, we have Mr. Boris Golkap. Now, Boris is a leader of the Treasury Management team in Turkey and is responsible for all treasury management activities of the group. Boris is joined by Levent Koskuna, Managing Partner of ELC Strategy in Istanbul, Turkey. And Levent has made a career over the past 2 decades, helping institutions in the fields of treasury and risk management. Moderating today's session is my colleague, Nick Romano, and Nick heads up the emerging markets for Kyriba. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand you over to Nick. Nick, how are you today?
Doing well. Thank you, Vijay. Appreciate the opportunity, especially to speak with my friends, Mr. Boris and Mr. Levent again, especially about the exciting project that we've undertaken together over the last couple of years. So I think, Mr. Boris, it would be really great if you could share with everyone a little bit more about who Şişecam is, a little bit about the operation that you inherited when you came into Şişecam in 2016, and what brought you to the conclusion that maybe there were some opportunities for improvement and technology may be something that could assist you along that line.
Sure. Thank you. Hello to everyone. Şişecam is one of the biggest glass manufacturer in the world, and as you see, performing in Eurozone and Russia, India, and Egypt. And as a summarize, we can say that Turkey-based international glass manufacturer, and we are manufacturing all type of the glass, as you say, table glass, glass packaging, flat glass, and automotive glass. And besides that, we are producing the chemicals which is used to produce glass. And we have 20 companies in the worldwide, and we are working with approximately 60 banks. So as I came to the Şişecam, there was a decentralized structure, which was the borrowings and financial needs were managed centralized by Turkey headquarters, but the operations of the banks was managed by each company themselves. So there was many banks and many connection types, such as SFTP or fax or email, and there was not a standardization on that. As a bank changed the format, then the IT comes to the area and change the format. So each payment operation was in his own world. So it was very hard to manage that issue. So Mr. Levent was our and still our treasury consultant, and we have long discussions with Levent what can be done on that, because it is very hard to give the answer of the question, which is how much money I have in the bank. It takes 4 or 5 hours, because we should call each entity to learn the number. So as we spend many hours with Levent, that we have figured out that there's a world which is a treasury management system universe, let's say.
Well, it's fitting with the background that we have today to talk about the universe, I think.
Yeah.
So along those lines, you've got a decentralized organization that with many banks as a result, and looking for a better means to gain visibility into cash and liquidity and around payment processes. This is the world you found yourself in 2016.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you ended up partnering with Levent on that venture, and specifically how you decided it would be best to enhance the operation, what you've undertaken over the last 18 months or so.
Yeah, sure. We figured out that there are too many banks, and we have over 60 companies, and also we have multi-ERP systems. Most of them was in SAP, but after 2013, Şişecam make a lot of M&As, so there are different ERPs. So then once we look at that picture, we understand that first we should solve the connectivity issue with the banks. And when we look to the world, that the corporate SWIFT is the most standardized and secured way of doing that. So we, as Şişecam, we are the first corporate SWIFT owner of as a company in Turkey. After that, we figure out that we are consuming a lot of time in order to make, also in order to collect, as I said, the bank balance. And besides that, we are consuming a lot of time for the banking operations, for the payments. So as he's a good explorer of the treasure world, let's say. So he, to be honest, he gives the idea of there are treasure management systems in the world as he goes to the AFP Congress in US.
Yes, I recall that you guys both spent some time traveling the world, understanding the different options that were out there. And this was actually a significant portion of what you did between your arrival at Şişecam and the end of 2018, I think, when we sort of began our partnership. Levent, could you share a little bit about the various, what you were looking for as a team, you and Barış, to select a system? What were the criteria that you saw as needed in a good partner in this endeavor?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. While we were looking for a solution here for the Şişecam, we were knowing the internal culture of the Şişecam and the structure of the finance in the Şişecam. And because of that, and also, of course, while we are evaluating that kind of information internally, we were looking for a global solution also. So that was the main issue for us, that we just look for what the other companies are doing in the world and which is the best suitable for us in our situation. So that is our main philosophy in any kind of solution, because there are many solutions on the market, and the Kyriba is the #1 SaaS solution. And we saw that after 2014, there's a kind of break on the technological side on the treasury management systems. Because when we look at the numbers, after 2014, the numbers of the SWIFT, corporate SWIFT member numbers, and also the Kyriba or that kind of cloud and SaaS systems are rapidly changing the market structure. And when we look at, we also check many kind of research about the treasury management systems and treasury operations in the world. So it was very important for us while we were looking to a fit solution to Şişecam. It must be very scalable and secure, because the security is one of the main issue for us. And another thing is that, as Mr. Barış said, they have multiple ERPs, mainly it is SAP. But in any way, we had to do a kind of standardized approach. So at the beginning, we talked with Mr. Barış regarding to the which kind of formats and which kind of connectivity methods that we will gonna try, because that 60+ banks, sometimes they are not using the corporate SWIFT or that kind of thing. So we just decided that, and we created a priority list, and the #1 that we asked to the banks, the ISO standards. So the XML and PAIN format, messaging through the SWIFT, then MT messages, then if possible, standardized formats, but maybe host-to-host connectivity. And there was a list, something like that. And then in the fourth or fifth number that forget the bank was in the list also, because if the technology is not the choice for a bank, it was our priority after that. So that was the important part, I think, to go very fast and reliable in the implementation phase.
And I think it's fair to say, Mr. Barsh, Mr. Levent, the focus was enabling payments for the broad SAP and other ERP systems and centralizing that aspect, securing that aspect, but also, as you said, to gain visibility into your bank accounts. So is it fair to say that you had selected Kyriba as much on the capabilities of the technology from an application perspective as it was on the capabilities of enabling the connections across so many banks, so many jurisdictions?
Yes, exactly. And as we look to the references of the Kyriba, we saw that there are too many companies which have various of transactions, and that was one of the key points for us for choosing the Kyriba. The number is not important, but transaction various is very important for us. And we saw that our geographies are matching with Kyriba, and especially for the feedbacks we have get from the reference visitors in USA. We have talked 2 hours, more than 2 hours with a reference, what they done with Kyriba. It was marvelous. And besides that, when we go to the France reference visit for the supply chain finance issue, which was not in our agenda first. It was a good lightning, let's say, for us, that we can use such kind of a treasury management system for other steps of the treasury management. So we begin with accounts visibility and payment operation, then figure out that we can do it supply chain finance, and then we figure out that we can do also FX management, and we can do also cash flow management, and we can do also cash flow forecasting. So as a treasury director, I saw that we can manage all our treasury activities via one platform with many banks, with many countries, and with many companies. So it is perfect.
Yes, I think you're similar to many of our clients in that you work to solve a certain set of issues, which were broad but very specific. And congratulations on that payments project. I think that's fantastic. Congratulations also on going live very recently, at least within Turkey, with your Turkish suppliers on that working capital program. Where do you see yourselves going, Şişecam, next? I know that you just brushed across a couple items. What do you see potentially tackling in 2021?
We began to take alive with the various countries of Şişecam, and by the end of the next year, we will finish all the connections will be done, or the payments will be done via Kyriba approvals. After with that, we have begun, as you said, the supply chain finance issue with our money in Turkey, and we will plug in the banks to the supply chain finance issue, because your strength comes from your suppliers. And besides that, as I said, we figure out, we understand that we can manage our FX position via Kyriba. We will run after that, and if we can manage to finalize, we will also use the cash flow management module of the Kyriba by the end of the next year.
Wonderful. So payments. I'm sorry, Mr. Levent. So payments visibility today, just starting on your journey with supply chain finance. But I guess we didn't mention you're also using the fraud mitigation tools and the sanction screening solution. So you feel today you have good control over your payment processes, the approval, the time it takes to see approvals go through, and now you're moving on to I guess, less tactical and more strategic initiatives within the organization. Is that fair to say?
Yes, exactly. And also, as you say, fraud issue was the key motivator of our top management, because as all the treasurers know, when the money gone and it is figured out that there is a fraud, the money is gone with the wind. So what you should do is, before money go, you should make the controls. And so there are certain of rules in the system. Also, you can figure out, you can put in your rules that if there is some noise on the payment, let's say, you can stop the payment. And also with the Swift GPI, we begin to follow where is the money going, and besides that, when the money will come to us also. So I hope by the end of the next year, we will be fully digitalized, which is our top management also wanting us, because now we established that all the payments are done full digitalized. The payment file comes from ERP, and no one can touch that. Goes directly Kyriba, no one can touch that. The digital approvals are given and sent to the bank, no one catch that. So whatever we do, it comes from ERP and it go through the Kyriba, which is wanted from our top management also.
And while we are using the Kyriba, we, as Mr. Boy said, it is fully digitalized. What it means, when they created a file, it is going directly to Kyriba as in a secure way and an encrypted file. Then it is going to the approval process, then going to the bank, and in 2 minutes we can see the results. So that is very important, and we are sending back it to the SAP system, to ERP, and the accountant also can see what happened to the payment, and if there is any rejection or something like that, if there is any problems. So we are also reflecting that to the ERP system. So it is fully integrated with the SAP now in the Şişecam's picture.
Wonderful. Well, I think it's great that we've been able to sew together so many systems, so many business units. Some of the other factors I think you had shared with me backstage, Mr. Barış, were the time to see those processes be brought to closure, the payment processes, so the time for approvals and so forth, because they've been digitized. And how that, I guess, has enabled you, particularly in this crazy year of 2020 with the pandemic. Would you like to share with the audience the benefits you've seen in that regard?
Yeah. As the pandemic comes to our life, that we were using it with 5 companies in Turkey, and in 2 days, by the help of Mr. Levent, we have become a position that all of companies can use Kyriba for the payments. So people, the signatures, the approvals, obligation to come to the office is blow out. So they were very happy. And so that was a big credibility for the project also. Because before that, everything we were saying that we will do that, but it was like a tale. But when it comes realized, and with a short period, with 2 days, approximately 15 companies, it was most of the dreams comes true. So people were very happy for using Kyriba, and besides that, people were happy to give approvals from their home and see, as the Levent said, all the operation is done in 2 minutes, or let's say 5 minutes. Before that, it was very hard to make. You will make the payment, you will send it to the bank, it doesn't come, send it again, and then go to the accounting issue. And all these time-taking and human power-taking operation is done, let's say, in 10 minutes. So we were very happy with the Kyriba.
I remember that when we started the project, nobody wants to touch some part of the project, because it was scary for the people, especially the IT part. For example, They were thinking that it's 60 more plus banks and fully integrated from end to end, and that much payments type or something like that. Too many people, approvals, 3 different systems. And that it was really scary because they have most of that kind of project. They have very bad memories on their background because we are just hearing that words from many of our customers. They are just saying that at the end of everything. We were not believing that we will be that much successful on the project. Because before everybody was telling that we can do this, we will gonna do that on that way or something like that. So as Mr. Barış said, it was a fairy tale for everybody. But when they realized that it's going on, and then we saw that there are many people trying to be part of the project because it is more secure for them to be part of that successful business.
Yes.
So that was one of the issue that I saw, and while we were talking with the IT guys, and they are saying that you can come with any kind of projects later on, whatever you wish. There's a full trust on that we can do, as we know.
You've established credibility, as they say.
Kyriba. The other companies are demanding Kyriba as soon as possible when it is come to us, or also the international ones. So it's a very good point for us.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. I think that's what we look to cover today.
Thank you, gentlemen. So what I'd like to say to anyone who is viewing the session, if you do have any outstanding questions, you can enter it in the Q&A box along the bottom. Obviously, this is pre-recorded, so we'll address those questions. Alternatively, you can always email us at activeliquidity@kyriba.com. So once again, that's activeliquidity@kyriba.com. So all that's left for me to say is obviously thank Mr. Barış, Mr. Levent, and Nick yourself as well for your time and your contributions today. Now, there's another session coming up shortly. So do make your way back to the agenda page and join us for the next session, a comprehensive approach to risk management at Avery Dennison. And we'll see you there. Thank you.